we're back from recess, so we'll go back to where we were speaking as far as a motion for transportation. Trustee Taylor Seros, would you like to read the motion?
Sure. Thank you. I move that the board direct administration to pursue contracted bus service to students in the areas of 349 and 549, 2160, Red Deer Catholic, North Walpole, and Kennedy Branch, starting in September 2020.
Thank you. Well, I'd like all trustees to speak to this, and you're the mover of the motion, so I would like you to speak to it first.
Well, I think that this is the way we should go, because if something happened, and we didn't, if something happened that there was less students by the other board, we would be in the same position. So this way, we're protecting ourselves against.
Thank you. Trustee Leonard, you have the hand up before we ask you to speak now.
Yeah. We have a situation, or had a situation in Beaumont where it's a difficulty busing families there into the Duke. And I guess this would be a question first to Charlie, if you could explain what maybe the differences are between the two. And then I would pose a question to the mover. Would you be comfortable that if we go ahead with this motion, there is a potential that we might, if we get families through that situation, that we might have to not be able to service them or different.
You're directing the superintendent.
Yeah.
So if the superintendent would like to by that.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The difference in Beaumont is there are no students that are on the way that are currently attending Christ the King, for example. So the students that potentially would attend Christ the King are living in Beaumont, east of Beaumont in our formed areas. So the bus would not be able to pick up students along the way, which is what would happen in this scenario. So we already have existing students in these areas that the motion speaks to that would, make that bus viable, whereas the situation in Beaumont is not the same in that there are not a number of students to be picked up on.
Thank you. Clarify it. Trustee Trustee DeMarco. Speak to this.
I would be in favor of this. As Trustee Taylor Sewell pointed out, this does protect the students having the transportation if we do go ahead with the contracted bus service. So yes, I would be in favor of this proposed motion.
Trustee Burke.
I'm in favor of this motion. Feel that we should go ahead and do this so that if something happens, we're not left in the lurch trying to find busing down the road if you need it. So
Trustee Miller.
Thank you. A quick question before I comment. In scenario 1, does this include the rural areas and the out of bound areas, therefore affecting 13 students? Is that the number under scenario 1?
That was the students that are already being bused, I believe. And it would continue for 2 years.
So currently, the way that we are doing it, how many students is under scenario 1? Is it 13 or?
Sure, so just,
Thank you, Madam Chair. So in scenario 1, the grandfathered areas, we currently have, again, without the exact number, about 15, 16 students. So that's the possible capacity of the grandfather amount. The bulk of the revenue that's generated, well, not the bulk, a good portion of the revenue that's generated in the proposed motion comes from students that are just outside divisions, just outside of the code. That would not be captured in scenario 1.
Thanks.
I think it's important to provide busing for these students, I would support the motion.
Trustee,
I think I really need to add on.
it's the mover of the motion, you wish to speak to it again to the floor. I am in favor of the motion. Closing comment.
I'm just glad that everybody's agreeing.
Then if there's no other comments, I will call the question. All those in favor? Unanimous, passed. Thank you. Now for some exciting news from St. Augustine School. And this is Assistant Superintendent Cardinal.
St. Augustine, is seeking final approval for their field trip to Japan and Korea, which will be happening in the spring of 2024.
And over everything, it looked like an exciting, wonderful trip. They're very lucky. They're going to learn so much. I wish I was going. Someone like to put forward that motion before the city discussion?
That the board give formal approval to St. Augustine School's international travel request to Japan and Seoul, Korea in March 2024 as presented. It is understood that the board assumes no financial liability to students and or their parent or guardian should the board capital approve the student trip.
Thank you. Anyone have anything they wish to discuss regarding this motion? Yeah.
I would have wished to see detailed itinerary, but that's okay.
It's on you.
Yeah, it's there.
It's here. Yeah, it is there. Yeah.
No, I'm in favor of that. Yeah.
Want the discussion? And I will call the question. All those in favor? Show good.
Yeah.
Thank you, that's good news. Now 6.5. That's it. The ad hoc committee for the staff evaluation.
That the board strike an ad hoc committee consisting of Donna Tugwood, Marco, and Liz Taylor-Searwalk for the self-evaluation.
Any discussion for that motion? Then I will call the question. All those in favor? Thank you. 6.5. Committee reports. First committee report here is trustee protocol ad hoc committee report. Trustee Miller?
Are we missing someone out of the committee members?
Yes,
That's not me, yeah.
Yes.
just for your right, it's only two there.
That was three.
Yeah, that's what I mean, but you need trustee Taylor.
Thank you.
To that, only two are listed here. The committee members also trustee Taylor Searles.
My apologies, that was the.
It's a different committee for the protocol.
This is the trustee protocol committee.
Yes, and the 6.5 will be in
That's different.
done.
That's what it's- that we-
You didn't finish typing the motion, so. The CEO. Made our CEO.
Yeah.
Would be a board self-evaluation ad hoc committee.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, so sorry.
Was here. So now we're on to the committee reports. Trustee protocol ad hoc committee report. Just
Sorry, Madam Chair, just going back to 7.1 advocacy committee. I see that there's no report in there, but as a Cal committee, should we just mention that we've reviewed it?
Okay, we'll go back to the advocate. Advocacy.
Just for note.
Just for a note that it has been. That it discussed, reviewed during the county. Okay, the trustee protocol ad hoc committee report. Some questions? I'd just like to say I think it's an excellent document and it's a lot of work by our chair. Thank you so much. We'll continue to work on it. It's going to be an ongoing. Questions on that, and we'll move on to the finance committee report. Any questions regarding the finance committee report? Seeing none, we move on to the long range Planning Committee report. Questions, we will move on to the ASBA report. Trustee Marco.
So just to note, if the report was emailed to trustees on December 12th. So if there are any questions you'd like to bring forward, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
I would also like to congratulate trustee Marco with being named the representative for the Learning Network Educational Services. Congratulations. ACSDA report.
So there's nothing to report, but there will be discussions that we will be having as a board regarding items brought forward.
Any discussion on those? And I would ask, this is 7.7, ask trustee DeMarco to take us into.
So I would at this time move trustees as well as superintendent and assistant superintendent stay for the in-camera. And sorry.
Thank you. So we will move into all in favor?